Here we implement the dealer strategy and allow the player to hit or stay. Not all of the things you can actually do in a blackjack game, but we're going to let them do the player do a simple strategy of just hit or stay based on the one card from the dealer. That's what we want to do for this video. Let's so those two things in blue down there. So let's transfer over to Spider and we can check it out. So finish the blackjack functions, import. So one of the first things I want to show you guys that we can do, I wanted to make this sort of clean in the video. So the video 15.1 was the .py is on here, but you don't do that when you're importing in Python. Just make sure you're in the same directory that your video 15.1 is in, and you can just simply, and if you're not, you can find it by, or putting it into your modules folder. You can do that too. But import new deck, which was, I don't know if you guys remember, but that was the function here. Let me open it up. So that was this. So that created the deck for us. And then deal card is this guy down here. And then BJ eval is this guy down here. So I have the three functions that we created last class, or I'm sorry, last video. And it's a little cleaner, right? Because all I'm getting is the actual sort of abstraction of those things. So let's hit F9. Video 15 must have something about printing. Yeah, so this thing will do whatever it's in. So technically what we should do is probably get rid of all of this testing space in here. But I'm not going to worry about that. Just getting something printed out to the screen is not that big a deal. All right, so F9. So all of this is the same thing that was in the previous video. I just don't want to have to retype it in. And now we own all of this stuff that we need in order to implement a dealer and a player strategy. So let's go ahead and do the dealer strategy is a little bit easier because you're not asking for the player to do something. So dealer, not sure if you know, all of you guys know what a dealer does in blackjack, but basically they keep hitting until they have 17 or more. So that's all they do. So hand val is equal to BJ underscore eval. I should probably do this if I can read it and type this. Yeah, there we go. BJ eval of hand. So we have that, and then while, because we're going to keep doing it. So while hand val in 17, we want to keep hitting. So what do I mean by hitting? I want deck, because we passed in the deck. So deck comma hand to equal. Remember we got to deal a card, so deal underscore card. Right, so that's this guy right here. So we're going to deal card, and it comes up, it tells you what to do. We got to pass in deck, got to pass in hand. All right, and then we just evaluate where it is. So hand val is now equal to BJ underscore eval of the new hand, right? So it's the card with the new, I'm sorry, it's the hand with that new card that we just dealt it. That should be all we need to do. Let me think here. So I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna keep hitting. If I bust, then that's fine because I'm definitely greater than 17. If I'm 17, it'll stop. Okay, so it looks like I try to always go to the boundaries when I'm at least thinking through what I think is going to happen to this function. Return. I got to return two things, right? I got to return the deck and the hand. So if I return the deck and the hand, then we should be good to go. And that's what the dealer will do. Remember, when we're putting the deck in, we're taking cards off the deck, and so we want to make sure that we update that when and that's really the reason why we have to return hand. So you're putting hand in so that you can use it by getting a card off of it. But if you got a card off of it, well, you want to return that hand, or I'm sorry, that deck with a card taken off of it. That's the idea. So let's test that. So I have some testing in here. So what this does is it gets a new deck, then it has a new dealer hand, and then in here, okay, so let's just do this first part here. And you can see it's a king of spades and a 10 of clubs, so basically the dealer should not do anything. Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm running. So deck, comma, dealer hand is dealer, right? So this is not deal card. This is dealer, and then we'll print it off. So it shouldn't do anything. Oh, I didn't run it. Dadgummit, I pretty seems like time. Let's run it now, and it says 20. Okay, so that's the answer. Let's keep running it. 21, it's not going to do anything. 18 is not going to do anything. So we hadn't really run. There we go. Okay. So when we put it in, it was 6. And so 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 9 is 20. Okay, so that it did what it's supposed to do. And it did what it's supposed to do here because it went in at 15, so it made it hit, which is good. Have we seen a bust yet? And that dealer never busts, even in these pretend games. 19, there we go. He finally busted. So he had a 10 and a 5 at the beginning, and it made him hit to a king, and then it got out of there. Okay, so I feel comfortable that this thing's working. Again, feel free to test this as much as you want. You know, you can put actual cards in here if you wanted to. You didn't have to deal it from a... The only problem with that is if you don't take it from the hand or from the deck, then you'll be stuck with extra cards, you know, the same cards. Like if I put a specific card that I want for it to do in here, then I need to pop that off the deck somehow. And, you know, I just haven't built that functionality to pull out a particular card. All right, so now we need to do the player strategy. So def player, again, we're going to put in deck. I think I'm going to and when I was writing this one out, I needed something else. I think it was the card. So maybe dealer underscore card. One dealer card from the deck, I think is what we need, right? Because I got to display that every single time. And now what you're talking about is like how should the player, what information should the player see before they decide to hit or stay? That's what I'm trying to do. And the things that go into this thing are the things I need to either display or do something with in order to hit or stay. All right, so the first thing, we'll just start off by doing the same thing that we just did up here. I'm kind of lazy, so I'm going to copy paste. Control E. And then hit or stay. Hit or stay equals none. So there's nothing assigned to it. And then while, let's see, hand val is less than or equal to 21. What this allows me to do is you're not asking the user, like if it's not 21, then if it's 22, you don't want to ask the user anything. He's going to be upset. They don't want to sit there and say stay at 25, or you don't want them hitting. In other words, when you're sitting in a casino, you can't even hit. Like if you get 25, they're not going to allow you to keep putting cards on there, right? So we want it to stop. And then while hit or stay is not equal to H and hit or stay. So I'm going to get the two things that I want it to do. I want it to be an S or an H. S. Oops. I want to keep basically asking the same question. The question is, so I'm going to roll out their cards. So your cards which have value. So I'm going to use a little different dot format, right? And you guys remember we can do that. And then I'm going to tell it to join. So I'm doing this weird stuff here. You can just run this to see what it does. Join hand. And I don't want to, remember Pep 8 says we got to stop right here. So I'm doing that. Join hand and then comma. BJ eval of hand. And then 3, so that one in the hand, that'll in the format. What happens, if you don't remember, is that this thing will go into that first little brace, that little brace bracket, if you will, and then the second one would be the BJ hand, right? So that's what I want to print out to the user, and I also want to tell the user that the dealer has, so the dealer is a dealer underscore card show. Okay, I'll just put period. I feel like it should be something like special, like this is the dealer. And then maybe a space, a couple equals, three on both sides, and make it a little symmetric. All right. And input, right? So now we want input from the user. Hit or stay is equal to that. So hit input. Maybe something. Would you like to hit or stay? Would like to hit or stay. And maybe we can put an H in here and an S in here for stay. Or maybe that. So it'll keep doing this until, so you're in this while loop and it's going to keep displaying the same information until you choose choose something besides it, or something, an H or an S. And then I don't know, we can say hit or stay equal to hit stay dot. So that'll allow them to be capital, just in case they have num lock or capital locks, with the cap locks on. Cap locks on, or they actually only hit the big one, then to do that. All right, so once I'm done with that while loop, that means I either have an H or an S, and so now I want to tell the computer what to do with an H or an S. So if hit or stay equal to an H, we'll do S first. An S, so that means you're staying. I'm just going to return deck and hand. So you're happy with the hand that you got, and I don't need to do anything to the deck. So that should make sense. That you just, I'm standing. I'm just going to return that information. And next one is if it or stay. Should probably put an L. Be nothing else, right? It's going to be one of two just because of this while loop. But I'm fine with this. Then deck, comma hand is equal to, I'm going to deal a card from the deck to the hand. I like to put space in between my commas there, and then I need to evaluate the hand. So hand val is equal to bj underscore eval hand, right? So I got the new card in there. So what has that done to my hand val? Right, and then that will come up here, and if it's greater than 21, it'll get out of there, so it'll take off. So it won't ask you that question again. If it is less than 21, it's going to ask you the same question, then you got to answer it until you, so all that should be working. And then hit or stay, hit or stay. Now, why am I doing that? If I hit, oh, okay, this is already equal to 8. That's right. So you got to so you're thinking like, what's going to happen is just keep hitting until it goes away. You need to so you can, just like I initialize hit or stay here, you need to reinitialize it and then allow this little while loop to execute. Because this while loop, what'll have happen if you hit H, it'll just, it'll come back in here and it won't it won't be equal to it. It'll come back out and it'll just keep hitting the digit until you're greater than 21, and that's not what we want. We want to give the user another chance to answer that question. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else? Maybe print a couple new lines in here, maybe. I don't know, to give it some space. Because to sort of separate, maybe give a some equal signs to sort of separate every single time you went in and you said something new. I don't know. I'm just trying to make it look pretty now. And then at that point, so you hit and stay, you come out, and then once we're done, hit. Where do you want to come out? We want to return. Oh, okay, yeah. So if you stayed, then it's going to return. If you are greater than 21, I need to also return it, right? So I need deck. All right. Now what we need to do is find out what happens to this. Hopefully, we didn't have any bugs in there. If we do, we'll figure out what they are. Okay. So after programming player, so I just programmed player. I got deck. I got dealer hand, player hand. So I'm going to run this. In my dealer hand is a 9 and a 6, and so I think I think the dealer puts the first card down and the second card he puts up. So I think that's the one that's gonna. So the 6 is gonna be the one that I'm gonna see. And then did I do that? Of course I didn't. And now, okay. So let's see the aesthetics. Does it aesthetically pleasing when it do this? So it says your cards 5, and so I wish I had a little bit of space in there. So I'll do that next time that I run this. I'll go back up and redo it. The dealer has a 6 of diamonds showing. Would you like to hit or stay? I have 15. I don't think 15 is going to be enough. If he has a 6, ooh, it might make him bust. I don't know. I'll stay. And then what happens to player hand? Player hand didn't do anything. Right, it stayed 15. Okay. Okay, I just got into the game. I shouldn't have got into the game because we're really not doing anything. And so we'll do, here, let's do print. Slash and just take it away from. All right, so let's highlight this, F9, and then let's run it again. Okay, so the dealer has an 11 showing. So if I knew that, I probably would try to get as high as I could. All right, so it took it away from the initial thing here, right? So it says your cards are 13, so I definitely need to hit it now. So H. And I got a 2 that time. Sorry, so I had a queen and a 3. I got a 2 of spades. The dealer has an 8 showing. Is that what it's supposed to be? Yeah, it's supposed to be an 8. Okay. And then I want to hit again. And then it just left me. It didn't give me another choice, so I must have got hit too hard. And if you look up here, 15, yeah, I got an 8. So 8 plus 15 would have been 23, and that's why it just sort of left. Okay. I think this thing is working as well. In the next video, we'll put all of this together, and we will just run a simple game. So I'll have player go first, and if they bust, then they're gonna lose, and the dealer doesn't have to do anything, and because right now it's just a 2-player game. But if they don't bust, then the dealer will just execute his strategy. All right. Hope you guys got some out of it. We'll see you next time.